Alright. Welcome to a gym quickie. Now, if you're thinking of a different kind of quickie, then you're probably on the wrong site. Bro, this is YouTube, not, well, you know what I mean. But anyways, getting into this is just going to be a quick video on machines versus free weights. Now, I've seen a lot of videos about this kind of topic going around, and they all just say it depends. Well, because I'm a cool kid, and I'm so cool that I've decided to play devil's advocate and just make this video. I'm just gonna go ahead and say just do both, or just do which one suits you the most. Now, personally, this is just going to be anecdotal. It's not going to be too much into science because I CBA with all that technical shit, bro. I just get in the gym and I lift weights, so this is going to be anecdotal. What I find is the best that's helped me within my journey that I've done so far, and hopefully it can help you if you pay attention after this. But anyways, getting into it for the first point, man, when I first started the gym, I used to cream over machines every time. Not literally, because I actually want to keep my membership, but every time, because I was so inexperienced of basically lifting weights, I needed that extra support to come and help me. Now that I've kind of, well, not matured, but now that I know more about the gym and stuff, I've learned how to essentially push weights up normal without needing the assistance of a machine to help me do it. But because I'm training for strength, I've also needed to basically switch to free weights for compound exercises like bench press, squats, and deadlifts, because if I ever wanted to go into a powerlifting meet or whatever, then these are the type of movements that I'd need to have practiced beforehand. But that's just going to be the first point. So if there was a certain machine like lateral raises or something like that, I actually prefer doing it on a machine, which leads into my point before, just do both. I would actually like the machine version of that because you can't really mess up the form of that one, whereas if I was doing it with something like a dumbbell, I'd be much more inclined to mess up the form with. But you know, that's just my preference, I guess. The second point, find what stretches the muscle more. Honestly, the main thing about the gym, people like to get too technical. I mean, honestly, most people just like, they require like 1 hour for the gym every day, after work, before work, whatever. They're just trying to fit it in their schedule, and they just really need to get the gym in their day because they need to be consistent or whatever. People honestly just don't like to dive too much into the logistics of it and just push the weight up, which is pretty much what I do. And I respect either way, honestly, if you want to do that, or if you want to be a nerd about it and just sweat out the science behind it and lift like that. To be fair, I'd suggest finding what stretches your muscle the most. For example, if I was doing cable flies versus the free weight equivalent of it, for me personally, I think lower pec flies benefit me more. I prefer lower pec flies with the cable rather than free weights, which goes against what I said before about instability, but it's just one of the things where it's kind of hard to replicate with the free weight, and it just personally stretches my lower pec the most, so I get more out of it doing it than doing the free weight equivalent. Now this kind of contradicts what I said before, but as much as I don't like the instability, I think for certain exercises it can be really beneficial to you. But as I've written down here, honestly, just finding out what stretches the muscle, what gets the best contraction, will probably grow your muscles more, considering feeling that stretch will help you understand how the movement works more and how you will be able to essentially replicate it each time you go to do a rep. So if you're considering doing something like a Smith machine bench press, or just a regular bench press, for example, this would be a quick example. Honestly, just find what stretches your muscle the most. If you enjoy doing bench press free weights with a barbell, then just do that. If you prefer doing with a Smith, do that. It really depends on which you feel the most comfortable with. And this principle applies for basically most other exercises, considering most exercises can be replicated with a machine. A third point that I've got down here. Typically a lot of things you'll see on social media about machines will be from bodybuilders on PEDs like roided out of their head. Now honestly, the reason they put this is because not only does it generate really good clicks, but because machines are really good at targeting specific muscles rather than just a range of muscles and stabilizers that free weights do. Now, this is genuinely something that you should probably look into if you're thinking about hypertrophy or something like strength here that I've got written down here. Because I do strength, obviously, I'm more inclined to do free weights. But for this point over here, bodybuilding, honestly, I'd say if you're thinking of, let's say, growing your delts, then I think doing cable exercises rather than free weights can really benefit you, as you don't really have to worry about stabilizing yourself. For example, going back to the lateral raise point that I said before, if you're doing it for free weights, for example, with dumbbells, you'd have to worry about actually stabilizing the muscle and actually hitting the delt itself. Rather than if you're doing like a cable, then you literally just have to worry about getting the cable up by yourself from its resting position. You can't honestly mess up the movement while you're doing it for a cable, which is also a nice thing. It's literally no margin for error. You just kind of have to do the exercise and you can get it right like 90% of the time. Obviously at the start your form might be a bit weird, but it's not hard to correct for something like lateral raise. So this, I guess, specific targeting of a muscle is a very good benefit of machines, which is why a lot of roid heads will say that. Now, honestly, for free rate strength, this is not necessarily force strength, but considering all of the compound lifts that are being used in powerlifting meets and tournaments or whatever are all free weights, that's why you see a lot of strength enjoyers going for free weights, because it's what they have to practice beforehand, which is like what I said before pretty much. But yeah, the premise is bodybuilders typically will incline towards, well, they're cream their pants over a machine more than a free weight. But I'd say either way, hypertrophy you can still easily, without a doubt, still do free weights, and strength still easily do machines. But for me, because I do strength and I also really enjoy the feel of free weights, I'm obviously going to do free weights. But going back to the first point, whatever feels the best for you is what I'd recommend doing. It's not oh, it depends on this, on this, and this. I'd say just go straight on for whatever feels nice and just stick to it. Don't just say like, oh yeah, well, it depends. If I'm training bodybuilding, then I can only use machines or whatever. No. If doing bodybuilding, like, machines obviously will supplement you well, but free weights will supplement you just as well, if not better in certain situations. But like I said, the second point is very, very topical. Just find what's the nicest thing for you. Anyways, going on to the fourth point, it's pretty much what I've been spitting out for each point that I've gone through. Do both. It's not a hard concept, man. When you've got enough hours into the gym to realize what you enjoy doing, then that's perfect. Just stick to it. When you come to a plateau eventually, you might have to switch up your machines or your free weights or both, or whatever you're doing. But it can also be beneficial to focus on stuff like how much weight are you doing, how many reps are you doing, rest time between sets, and all of that stuff. It's less of the play, the actual exercise, and more what are you doing between sets, what are you doing for the actual set. And then once you've got all those done, obviously worry about the overlying factors, like which exercise are you actually doing, how are you doing the exercises, and stuff like that. So do both is the main premise of this video. I mean, just do both, that will stretch your muscles the most. If you're new to the gym, put some hours in on each machine targeting the specific muscle that you're training for the day. And then once you find that you're most comfortable with that, just do that and focus on it until you hit a plateau. Especially if you're new to the gym, the rookie gains will kick in. So you'll probably have more problems on the mental side of it than the physical side, because your physicality should be growing a lot. And if you just worry about it too much, then it can cause problems on both sides of the spectrum, I guess. Alright, you wouldn't have noticed how I picked up some food because I'm fat as fuck, but anyways, getting back to it. So I've seen a lot of videos, a lot of quote-unquote experts saying, oh well, machines just build muscles so much more better and quicker than free weights and stuff like that. But I mean, the real answer is that it's two sides of the same coin. People will argue for machines building it quicker, people will argue for free weights to build it quicker. I mean, like, honestly, like, I don't even know anymore, I'll be real. I wouldn't really focus on which one builds it quicker. Building muscle in the gym is a long-term process which requires a lot of hard work and intensity and consistency, so I wouldn't focus on which one builds it quicker. If you're looking for like quick strength, quick hypertrophy, whatever, then just hop on roids, honestly, because if you're not ready to put a long-term commitment into this, then it's probably going to be better for you to start hopping on. Anyways, what I'm trying to say here is just don't really focus too much on which one will build it quicker necessarily. Just keep consistent, keep what you're doing. Once you've found what works for you, just keep at it and just sweat it out, basically. Yeah, it's like what I've written here to help me remember. Just literally building muscle. The time that you build muscle will all depend on a lot of things, such as your genetics, how much effort you're putting in your sets, and stuff like your diet, sleep, all of that stuff. There isn't a quick, foolproof, bulletproof way to just build muscle instantly, or even within a short period of time. Some of the things that you pretty much can't control, like genetics, is a really big play in it, obviously. But there's a lot of things that you can actually do outside of the gym, like sleep, diet, as I've said, which will really help you build muscle efficiently. And for the final point, this, I think no one talks, or at least not many people talk about this. This is actually one of the most important factors. Which of these will keep you in the gym more? Now, what I mean by this is, like, people will tell you how to work out and how you should work out and how should you do this and should you do that. It's basically what I've been doing in this video, but then no one will talk about which will keep you in the gym more. And what I mean by this is, which one do you personally get the most enjoyment out of? Now, you may find that doing machines will give you the best contractions, help you stretch your muscles the most, but what if free weights give you the most enjoyment whilst still giving you a decent amount of benefits? Not so much maybe as machines, but still, if you're like consistently going at it and being in the gym all the time, like I'm gonna just write this down. If you're consistent and you're more enjoying this and enjoying your time in the gym, then honestly, just do that. Like, at the end of the day, if you quit early at free weights because gym no longer it just doesn't feel, it feels more like a chore more than anything that you actually enjoy doing, then just stop. Because if you do that way, then you'll essentially waste the time that you've spent in the gym. You'll lose your muscle, lose your athleticism or whatever. Whereas if you stuck to the machines, then you'd still be going at it. You may be building muscle not as well as you were in the other one, but at least you're going, right? At least you're still building muscle, still keeping up your athleticism, and you're still putting in the work. That's the only thing that matters at the end of the day. If you show up and you get your work done, then that will be the most telling result rather than just quitting early because you don't enjoy it. But I mean, or you could just, just do both. It's not really that hard. Honestly, the way you feel is a lot more important than a lot of people think, because I'd rather stay doing something long term and have slower progress than just to quit early and just to waste all my time doing something that I thought I would have enjoyed, but because somebody told me how to do it this way or this way, then I wouldn't have. Honestly, it sounds like a bit cliche. It sounds like a Disney story, but it's true. Honestly, a lot of people wouldn't have mentioned this as much as I thought it would, but yeah, that's gonna be the end of the video. If you stayed throughout this whole slop fest, then I appreciate that. I'd really appreciate subscribing and all that, because our channel really needs the the algorithm to kick in. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.